这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
A man stood on a cold deck while the sea tried to swallow the ship, and all he did was press his lips tight and stare ahead. The phrase "keep a stiff upper lip" sounds simple, but it carries the weight of storms, wars, and quiet tears that no one saw. Long before it became a line people say with a small nod, it was a way to survive. The story begins far back in time, in ancient Rome. Roman soldiers were trained not only to fight with swords, but to fight their own fear. A trembling lip could show panic. Panic could spread through a line of men faster than fire through dry grass. So they learned to hold their faces still. Even when hurt, even when tired, they kept the upper lip firm. It was a small muscle, yet it showed strength to others. If your lip shook, your friend beside you might lose heart. Centuries passed. The idea did not die. It traveled north to the cold and wet lands of Britain. Life there was not soft. The weather was rough. The sea was rougher. Men went out in wooden ships that creaked like old doors. Many did not come back. Wives stood on cliffs with wind in their hair and worry in their eyes. Crying in public was seen as weakness. So people learned to swallow tears. They pressed their lips tight, as if holding in words and fear at the same time. In the early days of the British Navy, young boys as small as 12 worked on ships. When storms hit, waves crashed over the deck and water filled the air. One wrong step meant death. There is a story of a cabin boy who slipped and broke his arm during a storm. The bone pushed against his skin. He wanted to scream. The captain looked at him and said, "Hold steady." The boy bit down on pain and lifted his chin. Sailors around him saw that small act and found courage. The storm passed. The boy kept his arm, and he kept his pride. That was a stiff upper lip. The phrase itself began to appear in books in the early 1800s. Writers used it to describe people who faced trouble without complaint. In one old novel, a father tells his son, "Keep a stiff upper lip, no matter what comes." It was not about hiding feelings forever. It was about standing firm in a hard moment. Then came darker times. Families sent sons to distant lands. News traveled slowly. Weeks could pass before a letter arrived. Some letters carried joy. Some carried loss. There were mothers who read a single page, folded it, and walked back into the house with dry eyes so the younger children would not be afraid. Behind closed doors, they wept. In front of others, they stood tall. Their upper lip did not tremble. During the long winters in small towns, when work was scarce and food was thin, fathers would sit at the table with empty plates and tell stories to make children laugh. Hunger gnawed at them. Worry sat heavy on their backs. Still, they kept their voices calm. A stiff upper lip was not loud. It was quiet strength. But the phrase was never meant to turn people into stone. There is another side to the story. A young soldier once tried so hard to hide his fear that he shut everyone out. He would not speak of pain. He would not ask for help. His lip was stiff, but his heart was breaking. An older friend saw this and said, "Strength is not about never feeling. It is about feeling and still moving forward." That night, the young soldier spoke of his fear for the first time. He did not lose respect. He gained it. Over time, the phrase became a symbol of a certain kind of character. Films showed heroes with calm faces while danger closed in. Books painted images of men and women who faced loss with steady eyes. The world changed. Cities grew. Machines roared. Yet the image stayed the same, a firm mouth, a steady gaze. There is a reason this small part of the face matters. The upper lip moves when we cry. It quivers when we are afraid. Holding it still is like telling your body, "I am in control. Even if the world shakes, I will not." In the 20th century, when bombs fell from the sky and cities burned, people gathered in underground stations for safety. Dust filled the air. Children clutched toys. Above them, buildings crumbled. Still, songs were sung. Tea was poured. Jokes were told. Faces were pale, but lips were firm. That quiet courage helped whole neighborhoods survive nights that seemed endless. Yet history also shows change. In recent years, many have begun to speak more openly about pain. They say it is healthy to cry, to share, to seek help. Some think the old phrase sounds cold. But look closer. Keep a stiff upper lip does not mean never cry. It means when the wave hits, you stand long enough to protect yourself and those near you. After the storm, you can rest. Picture a young woman waiting outside a hospital room. A doctor walks toward her with slow steps. She reads the answer in his eyes before he speaks. Her world tilts. For a moment, her lip trembles. She presses it still so she can ask the questions that matter. Later, in her car, she lets the tears fall. Both moments are real. Both are strong. The phrase has lasted because life keeps testing people. A lost job. A broken dream. A door that will not open no matter how hard you knock. In those seconds, you feel the shake in your body. You feel your breath turn sharp. You have a choice. Let fear take the wheel, or press your lip firm, lift your head, and take one more step. This old saying is not about pride. It is about endurance. It grew from battlefields and stormy seas, but it lives in small daily fights. A student walking into a hard exam. A father trying again after failure. A child standing up to a bully with a steady face. The world may not always reward loud pain. Often, it is the quiet ones who carry the heaviest loads. Their strength does not shout. It sits in the line of their mouth, in the way they breathe slowly when things fall apart. You may never stand on a wooden ship in a wild sea. You may never wear armor or march into battle. Yet there will be moments when your hands shake and your heart pounds. In that instant, remember the long line of people before you who pressed their lips tight and faced what came. Not because they were fearless, but because they chose courage over panic. When the next storm hits your life, feel your upper lip. Let it remind you that you come from a history of steady faces and strong hearts. Hold firm just long enough to get through the wave. Then, when it is safe, let yourself breathe. That is what keep a stiff upper lip has always meant. It is not about hiding who you are. It is about finding the strength to stand when standing feels almost impossible. And that strength is already inside you.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。